Hello everyone and welcome back. I am here with Carbuncle Plushy. Carby, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, so I am Carbuncle Plushy. I play on Balmung server in Crystal, and yeah, I play currently main as Summoner, but I predominantly played Black Mage. I dabbled with Dragoon, did the whole floor tank thing, and I fish, I Omnicraft, Omnigather, and yeah.
You do a little bit of everything then.
A little bit of everything. I have played just about everything in this game. PvP to a shorter extent, but yeah. And I've been playing since 1.0.
I think you are the only person that I know who has been playing since 1.0. I think you're the only legacy player I know.
Yes.
Now, you obviously, if anyone has been in the fishing community, you know Carby through his tracker, but before we get to that, what really has been drawing you to Fisher? Because I know just in this past few months to a year or so, you got big fish.
I did. Many of you probably got your big fish title well before me, and you're probably scratching your heads, how could that even happen? I don't know. Sometimes I get lazy, obviously other things. The fishing stuff really, in other MMOs I have done like fishing. I've been playing MMOs for decades now. I had a Grandmaster Fisher in Ultima Online, if you know that one. And so, because usually there'd be like cool rewards or you get treasure maps. But in 14 though, like the community aspect of it has really been like a really fun, addition. Just instead of just relaxing,
It's a nice downtime activity.
It is.
Or for some of us, it's more of an uptime activity. But, and I know a lot of people, you've mentioned a lot of people probably got big fish before you, and some are still going for it. And almost all of them have been using your tracker, which has kind of been like a core tenet of the fishing community and fishing just in general in Final Fantasy XIV. Could you talk a little bit about what the tracker is for those who may not know what it is, and like what it is and how you kind of started it?
Yeah, sure. So I created this big fish tracker. Basically, a lot of the fish in the game have time restrictions and or weather restrictions, and they can get quite complicated. And there are so many fish in the game that it was just overwhelming, because all the sites out there, like there were definitely sites that said, okay, yeah, these fish are going to be up, and they would show like the timeline of like the following 100 fish are going to be up 1 o'clock.
I think Garland Bell did that.
Yeah, Garland Bell had that. Cat Became Hungry or Angler.
They had it.
And it was just like I couldn't choose. It was so many, and then I would just end up missing them, and because I'm all about like the efficiency, right? Like when you're crafting, like I go through and I organize like what I'm gonna make, and so I thought what I need is a way to sort these by like but which one. Like, who's the rarest, or like, when's it going to be up next? And if you ever did like the A Realm Reborn Vistas, right?
Yes, the sightseeing log.
Yeah.
It has a similar timer.
It does. The more recent ones, you can get them whenever, but the original ones had very similar requirements. Mm-hmm. And I came across a site that basically I kind of took the idea from, where they showed, they had the weather restrictions and all that, but they would show the next time at least.
Yeah.
And so I thought, what if I took that a step further and showed like, but what about the time after that? Because like, what if the next time's like midnight? I'm like asleep, because...
Yeah, you ended up, and that I assume is what became kind of the calendar view, where now you can, with Carby's tracker, you can now see when the next window is, and then when the next 10 windows will be, including the downtime between them.
Yeah, and actually, so originally that was not part of it. The thing actually is born out of like some like Python scripts or whatnot. So it showed it in there, and it's like, I didn't need that. But a lot of people, I got lots of feedback from the community, and so that was one of the features I implemented. a lot of the additional stuff that I've added, over time has come from community feedback or just helping others and seeing like, actually that is kind of difficult to read. Like, maybe it wasn't, I guess, at the time, and then it's like, actually, no, that bothers me too. I guess I'll fix that now.
Yeah, you do a lot within the community to really kind of take and refine the tool so that it really fits to what us fishers will need. And that includes expansions. And you've done not just like game expansions, but expansions to the tool. And so you've gone farther with just the tracker, and you've created a few new tools that I know that we've been using at the aquarium and just has been used in general.
Yeah, so the first add-on that I added to was the weather tracker. So when we, found like, actually we can just predict the weather because, we're like gods or something, right?
Yeah.
And so I just figured, that'd be a nice, neat feature, a side feature, whatnot. But then, speaking of like community, you'd have like a few times people would just organize, like, hey, let's all go and catch, this fish together, or maybe 2 or 3 fish. And then I forget who really coined the term, but
I think it was both of us.
Both of us.
Yeah, I think we both did it together because it was right after the first rankings for the diadem. We had put together a fishing party for all the fishers who were taking part because it was a strong 10 days. Mm. And we both were like, hey, I noticed that, I think at the time it was Stethecanthus, ruby, and I might have been like armorfish, I think, or something like that was up. This was back in Shadowbringers before the legendaries were added. Mm. And I noticed that they would all be up in a row. And I was like, oh, we could do that. And we were talking about predicting that, and you were helping me figure that out, looking ahead because your tool at the time wasn't going as far as I wanted. Mm-hmm. And you helped me work with that. And I think us coined the term fish train.
Fish train, kind of like similar like the hunt trains.
Yeah, it kind of came together. It was just like the hunt train. And so you have gone further with that.
Yeah, so that was the biggest like add-on that I created for the tool is fish train tool, so that you could see more like the timeline and say like, hey, let's maybe do like something this weekend. What fish are going to be up, during these hours, and then pick and choose those fish, add them to like a schedule. And that got me thinking, so I stream, and then a lot of the streamers who I follow are, really into fishing or became into fishing, and we just, we got them hooked, and and I was just like, this would really be an awesome tool specifically for that community. And so I worked on coming up with like ways of showing it as an overlay. And
you have an OBS overlay now for streamers.
Yeah.
So if you're streaming and you want to do a fish train, that tool is available. Just reach out to Carby.
Yeah. And then Teamcraft came along, and they're like, we could take this a step further and integrate this into Teamcraft. And I will be honest, at first I was a bit nervous about it because it's like, and I'm sure a lot of like developers, programmers can probably relate to this. Like you come up with these like cool things, and it's kind of like, this is my baby. Yeah. Like, I don't want to give this up.
I remember the early conversations about this.
Right. But Mui has been such a major help. And we kind of like divided up,
like
what
kind of
tasks and what like kind of capabilities we could both bring to the table.
Yeah.
So that the community at large would get the most benefit out of this, and so now you can create fish trains and store them on Teamcraft, so you can edit them in real time, and you can utilize, if you want, their tool if you're playing on desktop, and see all the cool stats, like how many fish were caught. I think like on the first train that we did, it was like thousands.
Yeah, there's
thousands
of data points. I ran a tester because they brought Mio and Carby brought me in early on to help kind of test out this tool, and I brought in a few other people, and we hosted a train specifically to battle test it, basically.
Yeah.
And we found a lot of bugs. I think there was one bug where like the average fish caught per minute rounded to, the decimals to like the nearest 100 decimals, so it was like massively on the
This
screen.
is going off the screen.
And we were like, oops, okay. But now that is available now, so if you would make it using your tracker.
That's right, yeah, you just
and
go right onto my
integrate
site, and then
you
you
can
click
integrate.
like at the top, there's like the little hamburger menu there, you just click the little fish train tool, put in your schedule, and like I've worked very close to like Spofi in particular.
Yep.
Her community is so great, and they provided a lot of feedback.
Yep.
And I was able to integrate a lot of the stuff that they came up with. One of them was literally like, can we have like the checklist be integrated? And I'm like, oh, you know what, actually, because I'm thinking, I've caught most of them. It's like, oh yeah, that would actually be kind of useful.
And then that way, people who are joining the train can see how many of that train they've caught and if they haven't or not. So, I mean, obviously the train, we use it for the aquarium. We're going to be using it in perpetuity, whatever that word is. I can't English right now. But we're going to be using it. It's really great. It's fantastic. If you are an FC or just an organization in 14 who wants to host it, reach out to Carby. I mean, you can access it for free on the Carby tracker, which will be linked below. And go ahead and use it. It's an amazing tool, and it's absolutely great. And you have saved so many fishers' asses on that one, and mine included. And so I think it's great. Keep doing the good work.
Thanks.
So, last thing I want to ask before you leave, we saw the 7.0 trailer for Dawntrail yesterday. Any initial thoughts about it? I know we don't have a ton of info. There's still a lot floating around. It's going to be October until we get more. What are you thinking?
I mean, it looks great. I know we were like joking, the night before when we were over at the aquarium. Like, how cool would it be if like they just, a little shout out to us fisher mates, like to open up like a fishing sequence, and as that opening sequence is playing, I'm like. No way, are they real? You see the boat is like,
and it
close
wasn't
enough.
But
close enough.
Aaronville's in it, or Aaron.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
gosh,
the rabbit guy. I'm so bad with their names still.
Anyways, it's there. It's great. I think it's going to be great. It's a nice.
Yeah,
I was really
I'm
hoping for a nice kind of a
it.
break expansion.
We need it. I loved. I forget which patch it was during this sequence, but reviving like our adventurous spirit. I feel like this is building on that, and we need that because we want. I'm hoping they're going to do a lot more world building. As we know, there's so much more that we haven't seen. I know a lot of us were probably hoping to go to the southern continent, me being a Lalafell. I really would love to visit the home of my ancestors there, although I'm Dunes folk, so I think Mock is probably...
Mox might be better.
Yeah, just don't tell anyone, I don't want to get in trouble, right? Well, Black Mage is cool now, right? We're accepted now. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. No idea on the job. I've been reading a lot of people now, they're saying like, maybe Pictomance? Okay, maybe, because artists.
There's a lot of thinking that at the time of recording, the hint that we have is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Mutant Mayhem shirt. And so I think the current prediction, and we'll see how well this lasts, is Corsair, and then either like an artist
we'll just
or
draw,
Pictomancer.
Drawing fish, right?
I personally think it'll be Chemist, but that's just
Chemist.
me. So, anyways, thank you for taking the time to chat.
Yeah.
If you don't know Carby, please check out their tracker website. If you are a fisher, use it. It's amazing. And I hope that if you were at the FanFest and you got to see Carby and thank them in person, thank you again for taking the time to interview, and have a good rest of FanFest.
You too, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.